I just finished this thriller, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Is that how you pronounce his last name? I absolutely loved this book. I read it in a day and a half. Honestly, it's a book that could be read in a single day. It's a very fast-paced read. It's about 330 pages long, and it's phenomenal. Super interesting, super fast-paced. I had a great time. This was an excellent choice for me to read after reading the very dense series of The Locked Tomb. This series was super dense and took me a little over a month to finish. So this was a perfect segue book, a perfect palate cleanser book for following a really dense series. It was so fast, it was so not dense, and yet it was thrilling and exciting, and I would rate this a solid 4 stars. The only reason why I wouldn't rate this higher is because honestly, I could have kept reading this story. I would have loved to have even more of what I was already given. I was looking for a palate cleanser book, and this did that, which I think is why it's fabulous and wonderful, and I'm so grateful because I needed this. But also at the same time, like, I would love to continue reading about these characters. I would love to have even more, and this story is wrapped up in this one book. So that's the only reason why it's not rated higher, because I just would wish there was more. But I still thought this was absolutely fabulous. 4 stars, strong book. What I also found surprising about this book and really enjoyable is actually in relation to a previous book I had to DNF. Now, I know a lot of people love Abby Jimenez. I even have really close friends who love Abby Jimenez, so no judgment if you love her. However, I tried to read Part of Your World, and I had to DNF after 50 pages. One of the things that didn't work for me in the book was there was a lot of heavy dialogue, which is not a problem, but a very stark lack of description of scenes and the scenery in those scenes. Not that I need a ton of description. Books like this have a ridiculous amount of description, which is its own style of writing. I don't need a ton of description, but I do need more than what I got, at least in the first 50 pages of Part of Your World. So I thought I was just not somebody who wanted to have overly super dialogue heavy books. But Dark Matter actually kind of changed my perspective on this, because this book is dialogue heavy. Without spoiling anything, just look at this page, like these 2 pages. Do you see how little, do you see how much we have just like a lot of very short dialogue that's occurring at that point in time in this book? And that I thought was not going to be my style. And yet this was done really well, where it still really quickly progressed the story. It made it really fast to read. And since it's a thriller, it was designed to be something that you just like pushed through very quickly rather than got caught up in little details that just weren't necessary. And so this made me feel a lot better about books that are particularly dialogue heavy. I still thought the plot was excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I would strongly recommend it for people who are in reading slumps. This is an excellent thriller, sci-fi, fast-paced story. I would recommend this for anybody who's just finished a really long, large series. This will be a good palate cleanser book. Overall, just really great, and I'm so glad I chose to read this after a really dense series. My next book that I'll be reading is Heartless. This is also a standalone. I'm really excited for this because I actually own quite a few books from this author, Marissa Mayer. I own the entire Renegades trilogy, which is up there. I also own the Cinder series, which is right here. I just finished getting the last book in this series. That's also known as the Lunar Chronicles series. I own a lot from this author, and this is the first book I'm going to be reading from this author. So I'm really excited. I'm about 20 pages in, and I'm having a good time. This is going to be Alice in Wonderlandy, and I think it'll also be a really fun read before I jump into another really dense, massive story. I'm going to do one more little bit shorter book, and then we'll get right into it. So stay tuned for this book review because it'll be coming in the next couple days.